everybody and welcome back. Thank you for joining me once again. As you can see, we're going to be tackling another prompt from our Find the Fun in Feb challenge. This is run by two lovely ladies called Hazel and Candy, and you will find all their details in the description box below. Now today we're going to be tackling the prompt of flower power, and it says botanical or hippie ? So flower power, right. So let's start. I want to show you something interesting actually. For those of you who watched my last video, when I did this Zentangle, all of this was black and white. Look what's happened. Now if you were watching, that's that first pen that I used before I realised that it smudged. And what's happened is that it's faded out to green, which is really weird. Now I don't know what this pen is or where it's come from actually. So it says it's a Stabilo Cappy. So I've put it to the side. I'm going to have to go and look that up. But yeah, if you happen to have them, be aware. That's what happens. Anyway, right. That's a little aside. Flower power. Right. I've had a bit of a think about this. And last year, Mr. Gemini went off to do a day's workshop to learn how to do lino prints. And it was something I'd never done before. And we had a fabulous tutor called Esther. And she, taught us how to do a simple lino print. And then we had option to do another one with a bit more detail. And I have to be honest, I was really proud of what I managed to achieve, which is not something that I say very often. And so these are some of the lino prints. So that was my first simple one. And then we got a bit more in depth. And so if you've never done any lino printing, what you do is have a piece of, well, it is like the floor lino. It's slightly different, but the feeling is the same. And you carve into it to make your shapes, and then you roll ink over the top and take your print. So it's a bit like gel printing, I guess, but it's more complex. And of course, carving out the lino is quite you have to adjust your thinking, because you're leaving the pieces you want and you're taking away the background that you don't want. So all these white pieces have been carved out and the green piece is left. So it's a little bit of a reversal of what you might do normally. Anyway, these are the prints I took. And then we got more adventurous and went for 2 colours. And then this one was done on a scrap of wallpaper. Now, as I say, I was really pleased with these prints. And I'd like to keep one of them safe. And so my idea today is to use this as my centerpiece. And then to bring in the sort of flower power element, I have this wonderful fabric. Look at this. Now, I bought this a couple of years ago in Samoa, so one of the Pacific Islands, when we were there visiting, and I was going to turn it into lovely big tablecloths, and I haven't actually got round to it yet. So my idea for this, and I'm hoping it'll work, some of these flowers are a little bit big, but what I want to do is to cut some of these out and actually place them around the edge of this print. So using this as a centerpiece and coming round the edge with some of these lovely bright flowers, and behind them putting a lovely bright tropical background. So that's where I'm aiming to go. I'm going to start by cutting some of these flowers out. I won't make you watch me do that. That's not really interesting, is it? So I'll be back once I've done that. Alright, so as you can see, I've cut a range of those flowers out just from a piece off the end of that roll of fabric. Now some of these are quite big, and I think I'm going to cut them down, but that's kind of roughly where I'm aiming to go. So I think I'm going to start by trimming this piece of paper down and sticking it on, and then I'm actually going to put some colour around the outside, some nice bright tropical colours, and I think I'm probably going to do that with a sponge and some acrylic paint. And then I'm going to cut some of the, I think I'm going to cut these flowers down a bit, and I'll place them around the outside. So sit back, relax and enjoy. That page is almost dry. While I'm waiting, I just want to show you this, and I know that I've mentioned this before. Now this is a sheet of labels like you would put through the printer, and what I've done was just to use up the last of the paint that was on my gel plate there, and using the same sponges, and I have just sponged it over. Now I'm just going to peel up one to show you, because what will happen if you do this is that you have these lovely painty labels, and if you look at that out of the context of this, it's a great way to start backgrounds or labels for anything that you want to use. And what I will do once this paint is completely dry is I'll add some stamping or other bits and pieces to this, and then it will be ready to go when I want to use them. So a little tip there for using the leftover paint. Okay, I'm going to start I've cut one of these bigger ones as a bit of an experiment to see. I'm going to start cutting and layering these pieces around until I get a pattern that sort of pleases me, and I don't want to cover up this background completely. I want bits of it shining, you know, coming through, and equally I don't want to cover the lino print in the middle. So I think it's going to be a little bit of fiddling about for a while, but let's have a go and see how that works out. There's quite a few bits sort of hanging over the edges here. So once that's dry, I'm going to trim those all off, and then I'm going to see if it needs any more. So I'm kind of wondering whether, for example, you know, does it need, you know, extra pieces like this? Alright, so once that's dry, I do need to leave that to dry. Once that's dry, I'm going to come back and have another look and see what I think. Right, that's actually been drying for a couple of hours now. Oh, so I'm just trying to pull my chair in. There we go. And these are the bits that I've cut off. So I'm just going to have a look and see if it would benefit from any more sort of bits layered on, or whether it just needs to be left. I do think actually probably even just for those two bits maybe. Yeah, I think just a couple of bits like that. Maybe even another bit down there, just sort of adding a little bit more in terms of layering. So I'm wondering if I can cut those bits off before they dry. Let's have a go and see. Now I'm just sitting looking for a moment just to see whether I think it needs anything else. Might need just a little bit of glue on there. Alright everybody, so there's our finished page for today, in response to the prompt of flower power. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching along. Do share and like and comment, tell me what you think. I will be back again next week with another prompt for the FFF 2026 challenge. But for now, thank you once again. Ka kite anō.